Hello and welcome to Lincoln Christian. We are here for high school football. It's the first game of the 2020 season here on the Crusader Sports Network. I'm Keith Miles along with Kobe Hansen. And Kobe, what else is new? It's another windy night for Crusader football.
Yeah, not a lot of new faces for the Crusaders. A lot of the same guys from last year will be returning, but a lot of new regulations and things going over these guys' heads, kind of being in the back of their minds, never knowing when this season could get canceled or just pushed out of the way.
Right, and just the opportunity to even play football is the first thing, and they're going to have a game tonight, so we're looking forward to that. It's the Lincoln Christian Crusaders and the Syracuse Rockets here on the Crusader Sports Network, and we'll be back with the game in just a bit.
My name is Jess Seeley. This is my wife, Anna Seeley. We've been married for about 6.5 years.
We have two boys, Zane, who's 4, and Zeke, who is 2, and a little girl who's on the way.
We wanted teachers that know Christ, love Christ, and will instill that knowledge of Christ in our children, come up along beside them when we're not with them.
I so valued the teachers that I got to grow up with, ones that I know were praying for me, and I want that, and I've dreamed for that for my own children.
Lincoln Christian School family, this is Kurt Earl, head football coach and activities director, and I just want to thank you for supporting Crusader activities and for tuning in to the Crusader Sports Network today, and just can't say enough about how much I appreciate you guys and all that you do to make this school happen. God bless, and to God be the glory.
Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Our running back, senior number 1, Jonas Burgher. Our running back, number 8, senior Dworak. The quarterback, number 9, senior Alex Cook. Our wide receiver, number 10, senior Grant Cody. Our wide receiver, junior, number 11, Gage Hohlen. At running back, number 22, senior Ian Paul. On the offensive line, number 51, Sam Dreyer, senior. Number 53, Jackson Emmanuel, senior. Another senior, number 54, Josh Free. Number 55, senior Henry Smith. and number 64, junior Anthony Roth. The head coach of the Crusaders is Kurt Earl, assisted by Josh Hyatt, Cole Dworak, Clifton Madsen, Jameson Rexilius, Andrew Huffman, and Chase Stokely. We're thankful tonight that by God's grace, each of us has arrived here at Crusaders Field healthy and safe. As the host school, Lincoln Christian is thrilled to have each of you here. In an effort to make sure that both participating schools continue to have the opportunity to attend school in person and to participate in co-curricular activities, we are keeping both fan bases separated from one another. Please respect the roped areas and use your designated concessions and restrooms. At this time, we'd like to have everyone stand as we led in the opening prayer by the elementary principal, Marty Riley. Please remain standing at the conclusion of his prayer for the playing of our national anthem. Let's pray.
Lord, we thank you for the hard work that all of these people have put in to be on this field tonight. We thank you for the weather being a blessing right now. I pray for all these young men and these coaches as they compete tonight, and I pray, Lord, that they'll be an encouragement to their own teams, that everyone on the field will look for opportunities to encourage everyone as we cheer them on and give you the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now, the Lincoln Christian Band, under the direction of Emily Bond, and the playing of our national anthem. Lincoln Christian fight song.
All right, we are ready for some football tonight. It's the Lincoln Christian Crusaders and the Syracuse Rockets. First time since 2000, 13 that the Crusaders and the Rockets have squared off in football, even though they're just down Highway 2 a ways. The Rockets have a 7-3 lead all time in the series. They've won 7 of the 10 times. Crusaders' last win came in 2012, 34-22 over the Rockets. And now, the way the NSAA schedule works, why you'll do a 2-year cycle, so we'll play all the same teams this year, again next year, and we'll start the season at Syracuse. But right now, we got the 2020 season ready to go, and Noah Sauberan will kick off for the Crusaders to start this game. And now, as we're getting ready for football, the winds died down just a little bit.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Although Noah, I'm sure, would love a good stiff wind behind him for the kick. Although he's got a pretty strong leg with or without the wind.
Yeah, he's been putting in the work this summer, going to a lot of kicking recruiting camps and stuff like that. He's been getting a lot of work in.
And for Syracuse, looks like it's Gable and Kuhr back to receive. And we are just about ready to start the 2020 season. We weren't sure we were going to play football, but we're going to do it. And Sauberan is getting ready to approach the ball, and we'll be underway. And here's the boot, good strong one, and that is going to carry into the end zone, maybe almost through the, I think it did go through the goalpost, didn't it?
Yeah, showing that strong leg didn't even need the win.
Yeah. Got to give you a point or two for that if you could kick off and kick it through the goalpost.
Yeah, especially in C1 high school football.
Yeah. So for Syracuse, they'll start tonight with number 9, Robert Shanks. Just the sophomore is going to be under center at quarterback, I believe. Number 3, Burton Brandt was one of their leading players. Spent part of the season injured last year and played quarterback last year, but he's going to start as a running back. And they start with a tight lineup. Nobody out wide for Syracuse. And the handoff goes to number 7. That's Brinkman, and he is nailed. No gain right at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's that no-look defense with the Crusaders this year, bringing in a new defensive coordinator with Coach Josh Hyatt coming in, kind of pushing up the formation, trying to be better prepared to stop the run.
And so here comes Syracuse, stuffed on that first play, and it looks like Syracuse, they may be running the flex bone. It looks pretty similar to the offense that Lincoln Christian runs, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit more compressed.
Yeah. And that's Brandt in motion, and he takes the pitch to the right side, turns it upfield, and give him about 2 yards out to about the 22.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Syracuse to try to just run the ball consistently against this year's Crusaders. A lot of guys returning that played linebacker and D-line last year. A new look defense, which is bringing more guys inside the box. It's going to be really tough for them to keep that going.
And senior gunner Dworak on the stop there, so that brings up 3rd and 8. Crusaders would love to have a 3-and-out to start this ball game. And now they are in the shotgun. And this is Brandt this time, and he throws, and he's got a receiver, and it's complete to number 9. That is Shanks, and a pickup of about 15 yards down to the 37, and that will be a first down.
Yeah, it's just a great play from Syracuse there, drawing the defense up and then just going over the top when Crusaders overcommitted.
So that good play for Syracuse. Again, those first 2 offensive plays, they were in tight. That time they went into the shotgun, and Brandt, who had played running back the first couple of plays, dropped back, and he obviously is their passer. Shanks back under center, hands off, the inside handoff. There's a flag down. We might have some offensive holding. It's about a 4-yard gain, but let's wait and see what the penalty is. And Syracuse walking backwards. It's going to be holding on the Rockets, so that'll send them back. And it's from the spot of the foul, which it looks like they're marking that on about the 39, so that'll send them back to the 29. It'll make it 1st and 18.
Yeah, that's what you don't want if you're Syracuse after a big first down play on 3rd down. You just give it right back to the Crusaders, end up having 1st and about 16 or 17.
And here's Brandt again. He rolls out to his right. He's looking downfield, and then he turns it upfield to run and picks up a few yards. And Josh Free was bearing down on him, but Josh wasn't able to make the stop. He eluded Josh and then pushed out of bounds up at about the 37-yard line, so give him a pickup of about 8. And that'll take it back to 2nd and 10, pardon me.
That was a much better job from the Crusaders, kind of recognizing that run-pass option rolling out this time to the right, and they were able to cover the pass. They just didn't quite make the play up at the line of scrimmage.
So here we go in that shotgun again, and we've got double receivers out here to the near side. Brandt takes it, rolls out to his left, and that pass almost intercepted. Great defensive position by Gunnar Dworak. He was right on top of the receiver.
That's going to be a dangerous pass if they're right over the line like that, and there's a linebacker standing right next to him.
And perfect timing by Gunnar, because if he'd have been a second quicker, he would have gotten a pass interference call,
right,
probably. So again, another 3rd and long, this time 3rd and 10 for the Rockets. They've got to get out to the 47 to keep the drive alive. Brandt again rolls out to the left, and he's going to throw it long. He's got a receiver open, but the pass a little bit underthrown, and great defensive play by number 10, Grant Doty, because the receiver was Brinkman, and he had a couple of steps on Doty, but then the pass was underthrown into a little bit of a wind.
Yeah, they're showing confidence in the young quarterback tonight. More pass plays than run plays so far tonight, just trying to let him work. But Crusaders doing a good job there on the underthrow, just trying to get in the way.
So that'll force the Rockets to punt at number 1. Jonas Burgher is back deep. Jonas had, 2 or 3 punt returns for touchdowns a year ago.
Yeah, he's got a lot of speed and a lot of quickness.
And here's the boot, straight up in the air. And he has to call a fair catch on that one. And there is a flag, and I think that's because they tackled him after he had signaled the fair catch.
Yeah. And that's such a short kick, I don't know why, if you were on the punt coverage team, you would even assume that he didn't fair catch it.
Right. And give him props for even being able to go up and catch that thing in traffic. That is sometimes at the high school level, I mean, just being able to field the punt can be a challenge.
Yeah, and especially with the wind kind of blowing the ball forward, it's kind of hard to judge where it's going. There's people all around you. And he's able to hold on to it as he's getting tackled.
And the interference call on the Rockets puts the Crusaders in Syracuse territory to start their first drive of the 2020 season. So we're going to have an experienced backfield here with Alex Cook under center, and Ethan Barrier, Gunnar Dworak, and Ian Paul is back there as well.
Yeah, Barrier's actually going to be out for this game.
Oh, he is? Okay. Yep, there I see him on the sidelines in street clothes. So Ian Paul will start. And that's Burgher in motion. He takes the pitch up to the left side, eludes a defender, and picks up a short gain. Good defense by Syracuse to hem him in toward the sidelines, give him about a 3-yard gain.
And not quite enough room for Burgher to be able to clear the edge there. Did a really good job at getting back up to try to make that a positive play.
2nd down 7 for Lincoln Christian. They look to the sidelines for the offensive play call. You've got about 4 coaches on the sidelines making signals out there, and I'm sure at least one of them is the dummy signal. This time it's Dworak in motion to the right side. Cook will keep it, turns it upfield, and he will have a first down. And Alex Cook goes from the 43 down to the 31. Give him a 12-yard gain, and 1st and 10 for Lincoln Christian.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough offense to stop this year for the Crusaders. Another year under this system with all the same guys, so many weapons in the backfield and on the outside. You just can't really cover everything they're trying to throw at you.
And more experience for a lot of those guys on the line as well, so as far as knowing the blocking schemes and everything. Burgher in motion, and the handoff straight ahead to Ian Paul. And Ian with a good drive. Ian from the 32 down to about the 25, give him a 7-yard pickup.
Yeah, Paul in for the injured Barrier, who's been injured for a good part of the last couple months. Trying to step in and fill up a big part of the Crusader offense last year with Barrier being such a big part, getting a lot of carries per game.
And Ian Paul is a senior, so for him a good opportunity to get out on the field and get some playing time in his last season for Lincoln Christian. Handoff straight ahead to Paul again, and he's got a first down and more. And he takes it all the way down to the 14, picks up 11 on that play.
There's just so much room for the Crusaders right now up the middle with that run by Cook and then the last two by Paul. The line is just getting these big holes for these guys to just run straight up, get big 10-yard plays on first down.
Crusaders going with the wind here in this first quarter. And definitely in field goal range, but they want to get a little farther, and that'll be an offsides call. Syracuse jumped, and it'll make it 1st and 5.
Offsides against Syracuse. They'll move the ball ahead 5.
Yeah, Syracuse kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here in the first 5 minutes with the holding call after they got a big first down play, and then when they just tackled the punt returner, and then now here right in the red zone trying to just force them to a field goal. Now it's 1st and 5 for the Crusaders.
Crusaders right on the 10-yard line. They can pick up a first down at about the 5. And this time it looks like Burgher is split out wide to the, or no, not Burgher, that's Hohlen split out wide to the left. And the carry straight ahead. And that'll be a first down. Paul picks up about 5 yards. 1st and goal for Lincoln Christian.
This is huge for the Crusaders trying to capitalize on the first possession of the season. And if you remember last year, there's a couple times where Crusaders would get down into these situations and they couldn't finish.
Right.
It's going to be a big sign to see if they can finish now.
Dworak in motion, takes the pitch to the left, turns it upfield, and he is in for the score. First touchdown of 2020 for Lincoln Christian.
Yeah, they just go up the middle so many times back-to-back with such success, and then you go outside once, and there's nobody there to cover it.
So with 6:57 to go, it's a 5-yard TD run for Gunnar Dworak. And it'll be Noah Sauberan in to attempt the extra point. Alex Cook will hold. Here's the snap. Kick is up, and it is good. Sauberan makes it 7-0 Lincoln Christian. Lincoln Christian's first drive is successful, and that's more than just 7 points. That gives you a real momentum boost for the team, first game of the season, and to march right down and score.
Well, in the dominating fashion they did it, too. They just marched down there. Didn't even get to a third down once. It was big plays on first down. They're just having their way on offense.
Right. And we'll see what, obviously, teams, it's very early, so teams will try to make adjustments here on both sides. Crusaders will go back on defense, and we'll see what Syracuse does. Syracuse, again, they completed 1 of 3 passes on their first offensive possession, and they had another one where they had a guy open, but the pass was underthrown. So I'm guessing they're going to go back to that well and keep throwing that ball tonight.
And if they end up having success with that and they start completing a couple, you're going to see the Crusaders start to drop back. That's when they're going to try to go back to that power formation where they just go up the middle.
Right. Crusaders next week, we will be over at Lincoln Pius. We won't be playing the Thunderbolts. We'll be playing the Lincoln Lincoln Lutheran Warriors. What? Okay. All right, Sauberan is back to kick. And this one is going to be a little bit shorter. It'll be a returnable ball. And then it's dropped, and he'll leave it for a touchback. That's Brinkman. He actually was about to catch the ball on about the 1 or 2, but then bobbled it a bit, so that'll be a touchback. So we'll see what Syracuse comes out with on offense.
And Syracuse so far really hasn't made too many big mistakes on offense. They just had the penalty that really hurt them on the first possession.
Crusaders, they've got Josh Free, Carter Sitzman, and Jackson Emanuel along the front line on defense, along with Sam Drever. Here's the pass again by Brandt. And, oh, man, he had another receiver open, but he couldn't hang on. That was Shanks with it. Tried to slide to a catch and didn't make it. The ball a little bit underthrown, but he had a chance.
Yeah, and they say you get 2 hands on it, you're supposed to come down with it. And that's the third time Syracuse has run that play where it kind of looks like a designed quarterback run rolling out to the right or left. And then they just end up throwing when the Crusaders kind of overcommit to the quarterback.
And so right away they're behind the 8 ball on this drive with this first possession, 2nd and long. They stay in that shotgun. And this time looked like he was going to do a little bit of a jump pass, and then he turns and runs, flag down in the backfield. And he actually loses about a yard. So we'll see what the penalty is. If it's on Syracuse, Crusaders may turn it down and make it 3rd down. We'll see.
Syracuse looked a little confused on that play, a little bit of miscommunication. I think that's what kind of led to this penalty.
Okay, it's holding, and they are going to decline it. That's kind of a tough decision to make because holding would be a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
But 3rd and long, so now you know that they're going to probably try to go to the air here. So Crusaders will be prepared for that. Well, here, now that I say that, they're in that tight formation again, now with Shanks under center. And he is going to pass. He rolls out to his left and then just runs for cover and goes out of bounds. And that'll be, it'll be no gain. So Shanks right at the 19.
That was kind of an odd play for Syracuse.
Yeah.
They had 2 guys kind of deep, but neither of them were really at the first down line. They were a couple yards short, and they were kind of right next to each other. It was like one of the Crusaders could guard both of them.
And Shanks gave up pretty quickly and just started taking off like he was running for his life.
Yeah, the Crusaders had get some of their linemen through.
And here comes the punt from Brandt. This one's off the side of his foot, and I think that's Cole Dworak who caught it on the sidelines. Cole is not suited up tonight, though. So they're going to mark that at the 40-yard line. So Lincoln Christian starts their 2nd drive in Rocket territory, just like the first drive.
Yeah, I don't think the Crusaders really have had to play on their own side of the field yet, even on defense. They've kind of been forcing Syracuse to play defense a lot.
So the Crusaders trying to match the volleyball team. They got their first win in their first game last night against Omaha Concordia. Golf team had a great meet yesterday. They won they were down in Syracuse actually, and they won the Syracuse Invitational. Had 2 of the top 5 scorers there. With I think it's Olivia Lovegrove, a freshman who was the medalist there, and then Maya Kushak finished 5th yesterday. Cook pitches to Burgher, turns it upfield. And we got a late flag. Burgher's still driving, and he goes down. If the play stands, it'll be a 1st down at the 26, but flag is probably, let's see. Alex Cook is standing there.
There weren't really a whole lot of people around that area where they threw the flag either, and it was pretty far behind the play.
And they're going to wave it off. No penalty. So that'll be a 14-yard gain and a 1st down for the Crusaders.
Yeah, that's going to be really dangerous for the Crusaders this year, getting Burgher to the outside when they have plenty of room.
Yeah, especially when he's starts running. He goes in motion before the snap, gets up a full head of steam before he catches that ball.
Yep, and on that first play they ran to him, he kind of didn't have much room because they were on the far side, but then the last time he had plenty of room to work, and he's able to showcase that speed. And then he was also showing some strength, too, kind of pulling guys around, get another, 5 yards?
Right. Cook has the play, and this time it'll be a keeper from Alex Cook, turns it upfield, and he's still dragging defenders, and they blow the whistle now after about a 6-yard pickup for Cook. Or give him 7, actually.
Crusaders continue to have success on 1st down.
And now we got a timeout. Syracuse is going to take a timeout. I think they need to catch their breath a little bit here. We've played just over half of this first quarter. Lincoln Christian up 7-0. And again, the Crusaders this year, a new cycle for football. Their district for this year. Teams in their district are Fairbury, Falls City, Milford, Nebraska City, Auburn, and let's see, who am I missing? That's That's it. Auburn, Fairbury, Falls City, Milford, and Nebraska City. And, I read something interesting about Nebraska City. They actually are too big for Class C1, but they opted down to play in Class C1, so they're not eligible for the playoffs.
Really?
So I'm just thinking, what kind of message does that send to your team if you say, well, we don't think we're good enough to play in Class B, so we're going to drop down and play in Class C1?
I don't think I've ever heard of a team opting down. I've heard of teams opting up before.
Right.
And that would almost be even worse, because then if you start playing with these C1 schools and if you're not completely, or if you're just competitive with those teams, you're
right.
It kind of reinforces that point.
Well, we'll see. The Crusaders have had a couple of great battles with Nebraska City the last 2 years. The Pioneers won both of those games. Crusaders were in both of them and had a chance both times, but weren't able to do it. But this year's a different story. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. That's at the very end of the season, so we got a long ways to go before that game. Cook with a keeper after the fake to Paul, straight up the middle, and he should have a first down. Give him about 3 yards.
That was probably one of Syracuse's best defensive plays so far this game, and it still ended up in a Crusader first down.
Ball between the 16 and 17. Crusaders in the red zone again. 2 drives, 2 trips to the red zone. They'll want to see if they can finish this one the way they did the first. Hand off to Paul straight ahead. And he is dragging tacklers, and he will have close to a first down. Looks like they're going to mark him maybe about a yard short, give him about 9 on the carry.
I'm still so impressed by the Crusaders on first down so far tonight. Almost every single time they're getting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards on first down. And it's so much easier to call plays and continue to convert if you're doing that.
This time just one back, and now here's Dworak in motion. Again, it's Paul straight ahead. He's got the first down and just shy of the goal line. Pickup of about 5 yards down to the 2. And now here's where, when you got first and goal from the 2, the one thing you do not want to have happen is have any sort of a penalty that pushes you back, holding or motion or anything like that.
Yeah, and so far the Crusaders have been clean.
Give it to Paul again, and he steps into the end zone. And Lincoln Christian on the board again, a 2-yard touchdown run with 4:36 to go here in the first quarter. Ian Paul with his first touchdown of the season.
The Crusaders continue to get that push on the line that they weren't really getting consistently last year. I think almost every play you can say the Crusaders are winning at the line of scrimmage tonight.
Yeah, and the Crusaders, again, it seems like we traditionally have not had a lot of big guys on the line, but it's not so much about size as it is about strength and quickness, and it looks like we've got a few guys up there that can play that way. Josh Free, Anthony Roth, Sam Drever, all up there along the offensive line. Here we go for the extra point. Sauberan will kick it out of Cook's hold. And this one is up and good. A little bit of a knuckle ball right through there for a 14-0 lead for Lincoln Christian.
And to that point you made about the line, a lot of these guys have been playing for the last 3 years on the line when they were younger. Anthony Roth started as a freshman. A lot of these guys started as freshmen or sophomores when they were smaller and not quite as big. And now these guys have been lifting throughout their whole high school career, and they know what they got to do. They've been doing this system for a while.
And I think, again, they got beat up quite a bit when they were playing as freshmen a couple of years ago, but that's paying dividends because they they've graduated from the School of Hard Knocks, so to speak, and they are ready and raring to go. Again, we mentioned next week it'll be the Spirit Sword game against Lincoln Lutheran. That's really early. It's way too early to be playing that, to play the Spirit Sword game before Labor Day.
Yeah, it sure feels that way.
Of course, again, the NSAA does scheduling for football for everybody in the entire state. That must be a fun project, right, to schedule, 200 and some teams and have to fit that all together. And a high kick, but that one will go into the end zone as well, about 8 yards deep, and Syracuse is not going to have any sort of a kick return game tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, that's just another thing the Crusaders get an advantage on, not giving Syracuse any breathing room. Normally, when you're getting pounded like this here in the first quarter, you can be like, okay, maybe we can get something on special teams going, get a big play.
Right.
But can't even get any of that here. Crusaders just got to keep it up. Sometimes a team that doesn't really know how to win yet, they got to learn how to close these type of games out and keep things up for an entire 4 quarters.
Here we go. This is Brandt fakes the center snap, and then it's a direct snap to, looks like number 12. That is Bugher, and he loses a yard. Number 12, Elliot Bugher, and Roth on the stop. And we talked about the line. The linebackers, Crusaders have some quick, strong linebackers led by Josh Free back there.
Yeah, we got some guys that would probably be playing line for us the last couple of years that are able to move back and play linebacker.
So Brandt, inside handoff this time, and it's Bugher again, and he is stopped for no gain.
That was a big hit there by Hohlen. I think he was last year's leading tackler, coming in there from that linebacker spot.
Yeah, you can look at some of these guys. Gage is one of them where you look at him and you can tell that he is physically bigger than he was last year. I'm sure a lot of that is just the work in the weight room.
Right, and a lot of these guys with the work in the weight room and then all this experience from last year, getting that confidence, it just makes you just play so much more free.
So it's 3rd and long. We'll expect Brandt to go to the air again. He's got 2 receivers out to the right side. Here comes the blitz. He rolls out, gets out of it, and then throws it long. He's got a receiver wide open, and a big gain from the 19 all the way down to the 45. Get about a 36-yard gain. Brinkman is the receiver, and the biggest play by far for Syracuse tonight. Brinkman kind of got in between the defenders there, and I don't know if that was a missed assignment or we were just kind of playing a little bit of a zone back there.
Yeah, and that's a tough throw to make, rolling out to your right, throwing it down the field that far as a sophomore.
And Drever was blitzing on that play, and that maybe gave us one less player back in the backfield. Here's the inside handoff to Brinkman, and he is brought down by Josh Free. I think Free went in there untouched.
I think he was in the backfield before the ball was almost.
So that's a loss of 4 for Brinkman.
Yeah, and that's a big play for the Crusaders. After you give up a huge play over the top to just come back and stuff a run like that, that gives you a lot more confidence and makes you kind of stop the bleeding a little.
Just over 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Syracuse, their first possession into Crusader territory. But they've got 2nd and a long now, 2nd and 14. You got to get down to the 35 for a first down. And Brandt rolls out to his left this time, turns and throws. And the pass was completed, but he's out of bounds. Shanks caught it, but he was about 2 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, and the Crusaders putting a lot of pressure on that play. Good coverage downfield, just a lot better at covering that right now.
Got to give Brandt credit, though. He's a pretty good passer. All of his passes have been a rollout variety. He's not just dropping back and passing. So he's throwing on the run and actually has a pretty good touch on it.
Yeah, he's had a couple dropped by his receivers that he's put on the money. He's been a pretty good job.
So 3rd and long here, 3rd and 14 for the Rockets. They got trips out to the right this time, and Brandt rolls that way, and he is chased by Carter Sitzman. And still on the move, but he's not going to make a first down. He picks up about 5 yards up to the 44.
That was a good scramble there to kind of make a dead play into a positive, even though it's led to a 4th down. At least you give yourself a little bit more breathing room.
Well, we'll see what they do. Looks like they are going to bring the punt team in here. They're already down by 2 touchdowns. But still, you'd think it's a little early to be gambling when you've got 4th and 9 to go. And let's see, it'll be Brandt who's back to punt. And Burgher stands on his own 10. And good punt by Brandt. Burgher takes it, fair catch on about the 10-yard line.
That's one of them you almost want to see Burgher return. He had about 10 yards of space he could have worked with.
It was a good punt, but it was not so high in the air. It got to him quickly before the Rockets could get down there. But in any event, Crusaders start deep in their own territory. First time they've started on their side of the ball. Got 47 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Cook ready to take the snap. And handoff straight ahead to Paul. And Ian's got good yardage. He is close to a first down. Let's see if they give it to him or not. And they're going to give it to him. So 10 yards exactly for Ian.
When you can get 10 yards on first down just going straight up the middle, it opens up so many things for your offense with all the weapons the Crusaders have to go with. If you know that you can do that, then
right.
That just gives you so much confidence.
We'll see. This could be the last play of the first quarter. Pitch to Dworak, and then Gunner cuts it upfield, and a nice gain out to about the 36-yard line. Give him 16 yards, and boy, that was kind of a dangerous pitch there.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of separation between Cook and Dworak, and he wasn't really kind of behind him. It was more like sideways, but they're able to make it work and get a big chunk on first down.
And they'll reset the chains and start the clock, so we'll see if the Crusaders let the clock run down. It looks like they're probably going to do that. So Lincoln Christian, good offense here in that first quarter. 2 touchdown drives, both less than 50 yards, but the Crusaders marched it right down. And like we've said, I don't think we had a third down play the entire first quarter.
Yeah. And even in the second down looks they've gotten have almost all been 1, 2, 3 yards.
So it's Lincoln Christian 14 and Syracuse nothing here on the Crusader Sports Network. We'll take a quick break. All right, we are getting ready for the second quarter, and I heard they're going to give them a little bit more time between quarters here, I guess, so everybody can get a drink, use a little hand sanitizer, whatever they want to do over on the sidelines. Think any of them are carrying a bottle of hand sanitizer in their back pocket like Anthony Rizzo?
Oh, yeah. That would probably get in the way in football.
Did you see that? Or like
yeah.
One of the first few games they played.
He just brought it out.
Yeah, the guy for Milwaukee, I think, got on first base, and so he pulled it out and gave some to the opposing player. Give him the sportsmanship award, right?
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo is just a fun guy to play with.
I think I just saw on my phone he hit a home run tonight, so
it's good.
Here we go. Crusaders 1st and 10 as we start the second quarter, and Cook is going to get buried, and his forward progress was right about at the 35, but then he tried to get out of it and went back a little farther, so that is a loss of about 6.
Yeah, and that is by far Syracuse's best first down play on defense tonight. And then, Cook probably should have just taken the loss of 1 or 2. Instead, he brings it back to a loss of about 6.
So now Crusaders, their first, second, and long, and they pitch to Burgher, and if he can get through the defenders, he does. He splits the defenders, and he is into Syracuse territory. So give him about 24 yards on that carry.
That is just so hard to guard when he has so much space and you get 1 or 2 blocks downfield. They're already bringing guys in to kind of cover against Paul and Cook, and then you just have somebody as quick as him get to the outside. It's very hard to stop.
Okay, here's the pitch to Dworak. He drops it, and he is going to lose yardage.
And so far here in the second quarter, not as high production here on first down as they were in the first quarter. The Crusaders not a huge pass threat team, so if they continue to get behind in the chains, that could cause problems for them.
So second down and about 18 to go. And this is Cook, who's got a keeper, and he gets outside his blocker, Hohlen, turns it upfield, and he is all the way down to about the 20-yard line, so give him 33 yards on the carry.
That was just a beautiful play from the Crusaders. Everybody swarmed to Paul. Got a couple blocks and just a beautiful bounce to the outside there by Cook. And then once again, the Crusaders get behind in the chains. On second down, they're able to just capitalize right away.
Ball is right on the 20-yard line. Crusaders started this drive back at the end of the first quarter on their own 10. So they've driven 70 yards already. Hand off to Paul. He sidesteps a couple of defenders and picks up about 3. And give him credit there because he could have just tried to bull his way ahead and he might have picked up a yard, got a couple extra yards by a little stutter move to the side.
Yeah, and that's something that he didn't necessarily do last year when he got his touches. He would just kind of run forward. Now he's got another year of experience. He's kind of learned with a little more vision, kind of learning to sidestep.
From the 17 now, Cook takes the snap, pitches to Dworak, turns it in. Nice spin move by Gunner, and picks up just a couple of yards, though. So Crusaders will have a 3rd and 6.
I believe this is the first third down of the game for the Crusaders.
So we'll see what they play. And, of course, the Crusaders have not gone to the air at all, and that's not a lot different than last year. We didn't throw many passes at all last year. And, of course, again, we haven't had to tonight. Things have been moving, and I think this is probably not – this isn't a play where you got to put it up at 3rd and 6 by any stretch.
Yeah, especially considering the weapons they've had on the outside tonight.
And Cook is going to keep it. He turns upfield. He will have a first down. Give Alex Cook about 7 yards down to the 9. It'll be 1st and goal for Lincoln Christian.
Yeah, the Crusaders so far on this drive have been tested a lot more than those first 2 drives. Getting pushed back on second down, 2nd and 16, 2nd and 18, and they're able to capitalize. Their first third down of the game, they're able to capitalize. Starting at the 10, they're able to bring it all the way down here with a chance to score.
And Nicholas Roth is in the game now. Gunnar Dworak comes to the sidelines. Gunnar looks like he's okay. I don't think it's any sort of an injury. Roth will be a wide receiver, split out to the far side.
Yeah, and Roth's got a little bit of speed on him to watch.
Hand off to Paul, straight ahead down to about the 5, or no, the 6, so give him 3.
Yeah, and Paul, just a violent runner in there. He got hit almost immediately at the line of scrimmage, and he was still able to carry that for 3 yards, and that's demoralizing to play defense against. You just hit this guy right at the line of scrimmage, you think it's going to be a negative or no-gain play, and then he just carries you 3 yards. It just takes a lot of your motivation away.
Crusaders trying to go up by 3 touchdowns here. And this time, Cook is buried.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of trouble with the snap, and then he couldn't really get around to the pitch they were trying to run on the left.
So we'll see. This could be a chance to put the ball up in the air. 3rd and goal from the 10. And they pitch to Gage Hohlen, and Gage turns it upfield, and Gage walks into the end zone. And a good job by Gage. He could have kept going out toward the sidelines, but saw an opening and turned it back inside.
Just great awareness and vision, and then the quick little sidestep with a little bit of soft stiff arm.
10-yard touchdown run from Hohlen.
And the Crusaders displaying another one of their many weapons there. This drive, they've had big plays from Jonas, Burgher, Cook, Paul, Hohlen, Dworak.
And Sauberan this time will kick into the win for the extra point. And it is good again. So Lincoln Christian goes up 21-0 with just under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. And so that was a good drive. They started that in the last minute of the first half, or first quarter, pardon me, and then used the first 5 minutes of this quarter. So it was nice to to have a drive where you start on your own 10, you start deep, and then have to take it all the way down the field. And they did it. They ended up, they had what, 2 or 3 plays where they went backwards and had like second and long and were able to convert.
Yeah, they converted right away. They had a couple big plays. I think it was Cook and Burgher who were able to bounce to the outside, and also converting on third down on that possession. They hadn't had to do that earlier. Just a lot more adversity on that drive, and they were able to overcome it.
Stay with us at halftime. Have a few things for you. Kobe, you had a chance to interview a couple of the football players. Who are we going to hear from at halftime?
Yeah, we talked to Jonas, Burgher, and then Anthony Roth this week. So it was good to just hear their thoughts kind of going into the season. And we don't usually we haven't talked to a lot of the players in the past, so it's going to be good to get to know those guys.
Here comes Sauberan with the boot, and a little bit of a pooch kick this time. And a good job by Syracuse to recognize that, and a fair catch called by number 80. That is Ethan Whitler. And I don't know if we were trying to catch him off guard there and see if we could kind of drop it in no man's land and get down there and cover it up.
I think Sauberan kicked it a little higher than he would have liked there, kind of caught the wind a little. Because he kicked it so high, Syracuse is able to react and then able to fair catch that. If you kick it a little lower, they're not going to have as much time to play that.
They got first down and 10 now for Syracuse. Good field position. The first time they haven't started on their own 20. Inside handoff to, let's see, I think that's Brandt who's carrying it. Yep, Burton Brandt, and he picks up 3 to the 35.
This is a big possession if you're Syracuse right now. Down 3 touchdowns trying to go into half. I haven't had a lot of momentum at all. Kind of shot yourself in the foot a couple times with penalties. You got to try to get some momentum here and just drive down the field.
So here come the Rockets. The lights starting to take effect a little bit out on the Crusader field. And Brandt fakes to his right and then turns to his left, and he's got a first down. Good move by Brandt. Caught the defenders. They kind of started swaying to the left a little bit, or to their left a little bit, and then he tucked and ran and got a first down. Give him about 10 yards on the carry.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best plays on the ground so far tonight from Syracuse.
Just the second first down of the game for the Rockets. And this time he rolls out to his right and then tucks and runs, and he will be sacked. And let's see, that's Carter Sitzman and Christian Witt on the sack.
Yeah, and Sitzman, a guy who has been a pretty good athlete, hasn't really seen the field a lot the last couple of years because he plays quarterback on offense and then wasn't quite big enough for defense for what we needed. And then this year he's gotten a lot bigger, gotten a lot stronger playing defensive line, and then Christian Witt, just a sophomore, getting in there.
And Carter Sitzman's another one of those guys that looks a lot bigger, stronger than he did a year or two ago.
Oh, for sure. He's gotten taller. He's just been in the weight room. He's probably seen some of the biggest improvement on the team this year.
Plays defensive end on that right side for Lincoln Christian. Now 2nd and 16. And the handoff, and that's going to be another loss for the Rockets, number 12, Coor. And he is brought down by Gage Hohlen. Or I'm sorry, Sam Drever on the stop.
Yeah, it looked like Syracuse had a couple blockers in there, but Drever just shot right through there from his linebacker spot and was able to bring a negative.
Yeah, about a 3-yard loss will bring up 3rd and 19.
Yeah, so just when it looked like Syracuse might have a little bit of momentum with that big run, Crusaders get 2 negative plays and force a 3rd and long. Syracuse has shown that they can throw the ball downfield a little bit. Crusaders got to still show up to play here.
And you know the Rockets are going to go to the air, and it looks like they're going to burn a timeout here, I think.
Yeah, it's probably a good decision. This is a huge play if you're the Rockets. Down 3 touchdowns. If you give the ball back to the Crusaders with a little under 4 minutes to go, they still have a chance to go down and get another touchdown or a field goal. And
yep,
I believe the Crusaders get the ball in the second half.
Right.
So
the Rockets use their second timeout of the half. And again, we mentioned Kobe's going to talk to a couple of our football players at halftime. We also have an interview with Teddy Ball talking to Brielle Power and Sarah Cunningham of the LCS volleyball team. Take a look at the 2020 season. And that's an interesting team in that they have no seniors this year. So the juniors, they talked a little about this in the interview. They kind of got to step up and be seniors 2 years in a row as far as being leaders on the team.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much what they said, but they kind of talk about the expectations of being an underclassman, and then you just go straight from that to being a leader.
To be the leaders, right? Yep. And they, as usual, the Crusader volleyball team has a busy start to the season. They played Concordia last night. They go to Minden tomorrow for a tournament. They will play 4 games there. Then next Tuesday, they go up to Fremont Bergen, and then the following weekend, a week from Saturday, they'll be up in Wahoo for a tournament. And by the way, Archbishop Bergen is a new Strive school, so next Tuesday night you can watch the Crusader volleyball team on the Archbishop Bergen Strive channel, strive.tv/Archbishop-Bergen. Here we go, 3rd and 19. Brandt rolls to his left and then throws and overthrows everybody. Shanks was open a little bit, but he wasn't even anywhere near Shanks with that pass.
No, he wasn't even looking downfield when he threw. He just had to get rid of the ball, and he was hoping somebody was down there. Crusaders were in the backfield again, and he just tried to get rid of that one.
Well, the problem is if you're not even looking and you're throwing the ball downfield, sometimes that's going to result in an interception.
Right, and that's just him being young. If you're going to do that, they're going to teach you to throw it to the sideline. But
right,
Crusaders again getting in the backfield.
So after a first down on that drive for Syracuse, they are now going to have to punt. And Brandt back to punt, and Burgher back to receive. Stands on about his own 28. Low snap. Brandt gets off a great punt with the wind, though, and that drives Burgher all the way back and takes a fortuitous bounce for Lincoln Christian into the end zone, so they'll start on the 20-yard line. Good decision by Jonas to let it go.
Yeah, and especially with I don't think he was expecting that with the punts that we've had so far tonight. And sometimes when they kick it over your head, some guys panic and try to go grab that ball, but he did a smart thing there.
And so far tonight, Noah Sauberan hasn't gotten to practice his punting, which is a good thing for the Crusader offense for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if a guy like that really needs to practice his punting too much.
Yeah. So just under 4 minutes to go. Crusaders have plenty of time. They've got all 3 times out left, so they've got plenty of time for another drive here. We'll see what they can do with this one. They went 90 yards the last time they had the ball. And Cook turns it upfield for a short gain. Give him about 4 on that.
Syracuse doing a little bit of movement before that possession on defense, trying to mix the Crusaders up a little bit.
So the Crusaders along the offensive line, they've got Sam Drever, Jackson Emmanuel, Josh Free, Henry Smith, and Anthony Roth. Those they've done a good job tonight opening up some holes for the runners. Second down 6. Cook takes the snap and pitches to Dworak. And Gunner is going to get tackled for a short gain, just a couple of yards.
Yeah, and that was a dangerous pitch there from Cook. There was a very small window to make that to Dworak, and they made it. And a lot better job there from Syracuse covering up both Cook and Dworak.
That was if you had the traffic reporter talking about rush hour traffic, a lot of congestion there in that play.
I mean, they already had trouble a little bit on one of their pitches tonight.
3rd down, 4 to go, so it's a manageable 3rd down, and the pitch goes to Dworak. He's on the short side of the field, but he's got enough room to get that first down and drags a couple of defenders up to about the 36, so give him a 10-yard gain.
Yeah, it's a great play call from the Crusaders there. Switch up a little bit what they're doing. They haven't seen that little short pitch yet tonight. Trying to get Dworak a little bit of a head start, not having to wait for Cook to pitch it to him on the run.
And the clock runs. We're under 2.5 to go. Crusaders, again, not in any hurry just yet. They've got times out they can use when they need them. And this time it looks like they will have Jake Bigler in the game. He is out to the near side along with Grant Doty. Let's see if Cook's going to go to the air. Burgher is in motion. Handoff straight ahead to Paul. And he picks up a short gain, give him about 2.
Even if you don't have success up there for the Crusaders, you still got to keep going to Paul. You got to make the defense respect that up the middle game.
Good defensive play by Nordhus and DeGoyer on the stop for the Rockets. And even though they're down by 3 scores, I'm sure the Rockets would take it as a minor victory if they can get to halftime without giving up another score.
Yeah, the momentum hasn't been nearly as lopsided here in the second quarter as it was in the first. Syracuse has made a lot better plays both on offense and defense, trying to give themselves a little bit of confidence.
And just before the snap, Lincoln Christian takes a timeout. So minute 20 to go, and the Crusaders use their first timeout. They've got 2nd and 7 when we come back to the field. Some other things coming up. We talked about the volleyball team headed to Minden tomorrow for a tournament. Also boys tennis, they will be out at Grand Island tomorrow for a tournament. Then on Monday, girls golf has a meet at Crooked Creek. And the junior varsity football team, with their first action of the season, they go up to Valley to take on Douglas County West. On Tuesday, we mentioned the volleyball team up in Fremont to take on Archbishop Bergen. And next Thursday, a lot of action. The golf team, girls golf, at Woodland Hills, they're going to take on Elkhorn North, brand new high school. You know, they have no seniors this year.
Really?
Yeah, so they split off. It was some of the kids came from Elkhorn, some of them came from Elkhorn South. And they are new school, but no seniors. So the junior class will be the kind of like we talked about with the girls volleyball team. They're going to be the oldest kids in school for 2 years in a row.
Interesting. And I think we added Elkhorn for boys basketball this year.
Oh, you did? Oh,
we added them in Bennington, and we dropped Fillmore Central, I believe.
Yeah. Well, Fillmore Central dropped us, I think.
Oh,
they were tired of getting beat up. So Cook goes back, his first pass of the game, and Gage Hohlen was open. He had a couple of steps on the defender, but the pass a little bit too long.
Yeah, a little bit too excited there by Cook, I think. Also, Hohlen kind of broke it towards the middle a little bit. Cook kind of just threw a straight fly.
And, of course, he's throwing into the wind, so it's a little hard to gauge how much you have to put on the ball.
Right, and the wind kind of died down on that play. I like the aggressive play call, though.
Burgher starts in motion, and then we got a penalty flag. I think it might be offsides on the Rockets. It is, so that'll make this a bit shorter for the Crusaders.
It's the second time that's happened for Syracuse. I think it's both times it's happened is when the Crusaders kind of go in motion then stop. They've jumped both times, and it's got to be more disciplined than that.
So that'll make it 3rd and a little more manageable. 3rd and about 4 to go. Ball is on the 44 for Lincoln Christian. We'll see if that may change the play call as well. Hand off to Paul that was a keeper by Cook. He faked me out. Cook kept it, and he's got the first down, a 6-yard pickup right to midfield. Or actually give him about 7. They're going to put it on about the 49.
Yeah, the Crusaders going to try to pick up the tempo a little bit.
They're going to go on the quick count here with just over a minute to go in the first half. And the defender right through there shot the gap and takes down Cook for a loss. And let's see, that was number 56. That is Jackson Nordhus again with the stop.
Yeah, the Crusaders call a good timeout here with 2 left, trying to stop the clock before it bleeds too much off the negative play.
Yeah, this is interesting. Now we We see if you get conservative and just run the clock out, because the last thing you want to do is end up with a turnover. Try to throw a pass, end up with an interception that could really turn the momentum.
Right, and you don't want to get too aggressive. You still have a pretty good field goal kicker in Sauberan. Even if he is going into the wind, he still has pretty good range.
So also coming up at halftime, we're going to hear from the Lincoln Christian cheerleaders. So we'll hang on for that. Then we'll go have our interviews with the football and volleyball players tonight. LCS band playing. They're spread out a little bit. It looks like they're kind of socially distanced tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they weren't able to wear masks, so they had to socially distance.
Unless maybe you could get a mask with a hole in it so you could still blow in your mouthpiece. But second down, 14 for Lincoln Christian. Handoff straight ahead to Paul, and he breaks free, and he's got a first down. I think Syracuse kind of gave up a little bit on that play.
Yeah, I swear I saw one of the Syracuse safeties just kind of turn around like the play was over.
That's a 20-yard gain for Ian Paul. And now the clock will run with 47 seconds to go. And the pitch to Burgher this time cuts to the left, turns it upfield. And he's got a nice gain. He's short of the first down, though, so the clock's going to keep running.
And if you're the Crusaders here, you don't want to make too big of a mistake. Just get into field goal range. Don't try to do too much unless it's there.
7 yards for Burgher on that play, and then a spike by Cook to stop the clock. 26 seconds to go. Probably a good play there because you certainly have a manageable third down call here.
Yeah, and then if you don't get it, you just call your last time out for a field goal.
During halftime, we'll try to total up our stats and see how many yards the Crusaders have gained tonight. They've had a very productive first half on offense. And a keeper by Cook. He's got the first down, and he is loose down inside the 10. So give him a pickup of 18 yards.
Yeah, I think the Crusaders couldn't have gone wrong there. Cook had a lane, Dworak had a lane if he pitched it. I just got to be smart here.
And now we'll see the clock is running, so we'll see. Oh, they're going to run a play. They've got one timeout left. They're going to have to take it right here as Paul just picks up about a yard. And now they're letting the clock run, and now they take the timeout. I thought, you take a quick timeout, you could maybe try one pass play, and then if it's incomplete, you don't make it, you could try the field goal, but it looks like maybe they're going to go right for the field goal now.
Yeah, I think he just didn't want to risk a turnover or something happening, so he was comfortable with where they were at, taking the field goal up 21-0 already.
So Sauberan's going to be kicking into a little bit of a win, but he's going to have a very manageable field goal for a guy with his leg. He's going to probably tee it up on about the 15. It'll be probably around a 25-yard field goal. All right, here goes Sauberan. He will line it up from just outside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and Syracuse is going to play this safe on defense.
Actually, let's call it a 26-yard attempt for Sauberan. And then Syracuse is going to call a timeout to try to ice him.
Yeah, Syracuse playing the long game here, not worrying about being down 21-0. Playing this just like it's the end of the fourth quarter in a close game.
So we just heard our PA announcer, Tom Techmeyer, say the boys tennis team had a big win against Beatrice yesterday. So looks like all the fall sports are getting off to good starts this year.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys that are doing all these sports just glad to be playing. Most of these people didn't think that we were even going to get fall sports or be at school. So I think everybody's kind of here with more of a grateful attitude.
Yep. Yeah, I think I heard the interview you did with Anthony Roth. I think it was Anthony that said, you know what, we're not even sure week to week if we're going to get to play a game, so we're going to enjoy every minute of it.
Yep.
So you know what, out of the timeout, he moved a yard closer. Now it looks like he's going to spot it on about the 25. And the ball is down, kick is up, and it is good. So Noah Sauberan, 6 points so far tonight, 3 extra points, and a 25-yard field goal with no time left.
The overall very productive first half here for the Crusaders. Both offense and defense getting a lot of momentum. And Syracuse a little bit better there in the second quarter, but overall the Crusaders just too much there in the first half with all the weapons they have.
So Lincoln Christian up 24-0 at halftime. And hang on, we are going to stay with you and see the LCS cheerleaders perform, and then we'll have our halftime interviews. Hear from Anthony Roth and Jonas Burgher, and also from Sarah Cunningham and Brielle Power. So hang on for that.
All right, Jonas, thanks for joining me.
So you can take a break.
And now performing a short halftime routine, the Lincoln Christian competitive cheerleading team, with Captain Sasha Glenn, Captain Addie Calfee, Co-Captain Carly Larson, Co-Captain Haley Dahlman, Allie DeWitt, Sophie Bigham, and Heidi Christensen. The Lincoln Christian competitive cheerleading team. There it is, the Lincoln Christian competitive cheerleading team. Thank you, ladies, very much. First half highlights for the Crusaders. The 6:57 remaining in the first quarter. Gunnar Dworak ran up the middle for a 5-yard touchdown. The kick was good by Noah Sauberan. The Crusaders led 7-0. With 4:38 remaining in the first quarter, Ian Paul went off the right side, 2 yards. Sauberan's kick was good, making the score 14-0. In the second quarter, Hohlen Gage went around the right end with 6:56 remaining in the half to give the Crusaders a 21-0 lead, with Sauberan's kick being good. And with no time remaining on the clock, Sauberan was successful with a 26-yard field goal try, his first of the season, making the score Lincoln Christian 24 and Syracuse nothing at halftime. Hey, Crusader fans, you might want to make note, if you don't already know, that football will be in action next Friday night, September 4th, as the Crusaders will take on Lincoln Lutheran at 7 o'clock. The game is tentatively scheduled will pass the tents Aldridge Field for the annual battle for the Sword of Truth. Check time, date, and location on the website or at the school in the event that the game should be moved.
You got to replace like 4 days before that. So yes, that's why everything gets deducted.
Jonas, thanks for joining me. What do you see as your role on this year's team?
Personally, I'm what we call an A-back on our team and our flex bone, and I'm also the cornerback. So for offense, they'll be coming to me if they want like some sort of just want some speed around the outside. We'll do that a few times a game, just like swing it to me. And for defense, just containing the outside run and locking up the pass game that the other team will have. So.
Yeah. What would you say is your role kind of off the field and in the huddle?
Since I'm a senior, I think my main role is just to kind of lead by example. So, during practices, go all out, just kind of respect the coaches and make sure to run things properly and coach the younger players. I'm not the most vocal guy on the team, but I'll still step in when needed and, I don't know, have leadership where leadership is due.
Yeah. So what would be some of your personal goals for this season and then also some of the team's goals for the season?
Personal goals, I don't know if I have too many personal goals. I don't know, just do better than I did last year, and just keep on improving, I suppose. For the team, we're looking to be a real threat in C1 this year, and to, I don't know, put up a lot more wins this year, but most importantly, to be a good example and, to represent Christ well in everything we do. So, I don't know, it's, kind of the Sunday school answer, but I mean, it's also the truth, so.
Yeah. What would be your favorite thing about this year's team?
I think the unity that we have, for sure. We got a great senior class with a bunch of guys who care about each other. I think we really want what's best for the team. I think everybody on the team is putting the team above themselves, or at least trying to. And I think, I don't know, just the overall team aspect of the game just really strengthens how we play the game. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so last question. How do you guys keep going and try to stay focused knowing that the season can get canceled or games can get canceled at any moment?
Our coach likes to remind us that, every day could be our last and we should go all out. And he said even if, we knew it was going to get canceled, if we found out during, let's say, a practice, then we'd still go all out that one practice, no matter what. He is telling us that it should be even like an even bigger motivator, just to give everything you have during each moment on the field and off the field, just to make use of maybe what limited time we have, you know. And nothing is guaranteed. We got to earn everything. So, you know, just I don't know, keep working hard like it's our last. So.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for joining me.
Yep.
In the 2019 season, varsity volleyball finished 17-16, which is barely over 500. It's also a winning season, but for this season to be success, what would you have to achieve?
I think a big thing to be successful is just putting in effort and hard work and like the determination to get better and doing all that you can to do that.
Last volleyball season, there were 7 seniors on the varsity team. This year, there's not a single senior. How will that make a difference this year?
Well, I think that's a big difference, especially since like as juniors we're coming from sophomore, which is underclassmen, and then now we have to lead the whole team. So that's we're taking on a lot more responsibility and have to do a lot more. So that just takes adjusting to.
Yeah.
So junior year is like it's supposed to be an extra year or like looking.
Kind of like a transition year.
Yeah. So like learning how to be the senior, but now this year you have to be the senior.
Yeah, I think it'll take a lot of, like you said, adjusting too, and we're just going to have to do our best.
So does that put any extra pressure on you to compete or to lead or?
I would say a little bit, but like our teammates know too, and like they're kind of right there with us, helping lead. Even like some of the underclassmen, like the sophomores, are stepping up.
Yeah, we all know each other pretty well, especially since we're in consecutive grades.
So, just explain your like defensive plan for the year. Most teams have a libero, and we don't have a libero. Do volleyball teams need one, or does it depend on like the setup of players? Like,
Yeah, you don't have to have one. It is kind of unusual to not have one, but defense is a lot about effort, and so I think we'll be okay just because we have the heart and yeah,
it'll just look different than normal.
so LCS is planning on only having 6 players on the court the whole game. Is this normal to have only 6 athletes on a rotation at a time?
No, it's not really normal. Usually, like some people only play front row, and then with a libero, they play back row for some people, but. Yeah, this year everyone will just rotate. I don't think there will be a lot of substitutes.
Yeah, it's going to be mentally hard and I think physically challenging too, but I think we can do it.
Yeah.
All 30 games or however
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your expectation for the season? Like, how can you show growth, or is growth your goal? What's your goal for the season? Like.
Yeah, I think a major goal is just to grow, and since we don't have the depth and experience that we've had in the previous years, just to like see a big difference from beginning to end of season to show that we've improved.
Yeah, I think we just want to be playing our best volleyball at the end of the season and just compete and give it our best effort in all of our games.
Do you think that this is going to make you guys better for next year?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because we won't lose anybody, and we'll have gained a lot through like having to persevere almost through this year.
And you'll have 5 seniors next year. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Zach Kassenbaum, the superintendent at Lincoln Christian School, and just wanted to thank you for joining us and watching us on Strive TV on the Crusader Network and just supporting the Lincoln Christian Crusaders. Thank you.
All right, Anthony, thanks for joining me. So what would be some of your general expectations for the team this season?
Well, I'm excited for this year because, really, this is our first year that we actually have a lot of seniors and juniors. So we have a lot of talent and people who have been working hard for a long time who know the plays and the schemes. So I think on a scoreboard side of it, I think we're going to do really well this season. But also like the spiritual and the mental side of the game, we have a brotherhood. It's fairly united, and I think we're going to, win or lose, do really well this season.
Kind of expand more on that brotherhood theme. How do you think that kind of goes throughout your team?
Well, I think we have a lot of unity in the team. We have pasta feeds. We've been around each other for a long time, and because of that, we're building a big relationship with each other, and we're just growing in Christ with each other, and yeah.
It's cool. So you've been a starter all throughout your high school career. So what would be some of your goals going into your junior year? You're finally an upperclassman.
Yeah, I want to see myself, making big plays, work for the team, and we just need everybody to work together in unison, and hopefully work as a unit so we can make plays at the line and hopefully just crush the other team.
Yeah. So we've talked to some other guys about this, but with all the stuff going around with COVID and all that, you guys don't know if you're even going to finish the season. A game could get canceled the day before it happens. How do you guys go about kind of preparing for that and just being mentally ready for that?
Well, what I think of it is every day could be your last opportunity to play. And Coach Earl always stresses this, that we need to work in the moment and give our best effort, because who knows if we're going to come back tomorrow, or who knows if the season is going to get completely canceled. We just need to stay in the moment and play our hardest to the glory of God.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, we're back getting ready for the second half. The Crusaders with a good first half, 24-0 lead over Syracuse Rockets. We got some halftime stats for you. Unofficially, of course, Crusaders, everything on the ground. They tried just one pass, Alex Cook did. But on the ground, Jonas Burgher, 48 yards. Alex Cook, 78. Ian Paul, 78 yards in his first start. Gunnar Dworak, 28 yards. And Gage Hohlen, 1 carry for 10 yards, but that was for a touchdown. Hohlen, Dworak, and Paul each with a touchdown. And then a 25-yard field goal by Noah Sauberan to round out the scoring. So Lincoln Christian with 242 yards on the ground. And for Syracuse, Burton Brandt was 2 out of 7 passing for 51 yards. And they had just a total of 14 yards rushing in that first half. So Lincoln Christian defense held Syracuse to just 65 total yards of offense.
Yeah, and you can really tell a huge difference between the Crusaders and the Rockets right now is just the balance. The Crusaders had 5 guys that you named that were scoring and getting decent chunks of yardage, while Syracuse is basically just running it all through Brant.
So we'll see. The Crusaders will get the ball to start this second half. I assume they will want to take the wind here in the third quarter. Or excuse me, I should say, I assume Syracuse will want to take the win because they're kicking off.
Yeah, and a big opportunity here for the Crusaders to almost throw a knockout punch here to start off the third quarter. Try to let Syracuse know that there's no chance they try to get back into this game. But if you're Syracuse, if you're going to try to get back in this game, it's got to start now. You only have a half to do it.
Yeah, the Rockets, it's not time to panic. They're only down 3 scores. They could tie the game with 3 touchdowns and double extra points, but they can't afford too many dry runs as far as that goes. When they've got the ball on offense, they've got to make some hay. For the Crusaders, it'll be Jonas Burgher, who is back to receive. And kicking off for the Rockets, number 63, that's Nolan Werner, a junior. Werner approaches the ball, and it's a low line drive. Burgher comes up. Oh, it hits off of his knee pad, but bounces right back to him. He picks it up and now cuts out to the left. Does a little spin move and has a decent return. Give him about 15 on the return out to about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, low kick. The Crusaders able to make a little something out of that, get a decent field position here to start the third quarter.
Crusaders will start with their same starting offense. Skill players are Doty and Hohlen out wide each way, and then the backs, Paul, Dworak, and Burgher, and the quarterback is Alex Cook. And they set, then back out and look to the sidelines. Coaches look like they're doing a cheer over there, clapping and waving and doing all those things, but obviously the players know what it means, and that is Paul straight ahead, and Syracuse, good defense there. He stops him for a couple of yards.
Yeah, that's something Syracuse did a lot better job to end the first half, was stopping Paul up the middle. He was able to get going pretty good in the first quarter and then at the beginning of that second quarter, but they kind of cleaned up that middle area of the line of scrimmage.
And the Crusaders obviously are happy to use clock here in this second half, but by the same token, you want to stay with kind of your normal rhythm. You don't want to try to slow things down too much. And there's a jump. That is Roth, I think it is. Yeah, Anthony Roth jumped. It'll be an illegal procedure. Is that the first penalty on
I think it was.
Crusaders? Yeah.
Syracuse had their, I think, five-ish penalties. That's the first one for the Crusaders. And if you're the Crusaders, not a great start here. Not a huge play on first down, then the penalty. You got to try to establish some momentum here in the second half.
That'll be second and about 15 now, and there's a fumble, and Cook covers it up, but that's another loss.
That was an odd fumble. I think nobody knew where the ball was. All the Syracuse players probably would have had a chance to recover that if they would have just known where the ball was.
Yeah, you heard a lot of people yelling ball, but nobody could find it.
Okay.
And they're going to wave off the flag. I didn't even see a flag, but they'll wave it off. So,
and this is a place for the Crusaders really struggling with, which is third and long. They don't really have a huge pass repertoire, and then it's hard to establish a third and long running scheme.
So Cook lost about 7 yards on that play. And here goes Dworak off to the right side, tries to get around the corner, picks up a few yards, and now cuts back into the middle. He's not going to have a first down, but gains some of that back, so it'll be about 3rd and 10. Give him about 9 on the play.
And that's part of the tough situation for the Crusaders, not really being too comfortable to pass in that situation. You're not really designing this offense to get 20 yards a play. You're designing it to do what they just did, which is get about 9 or 10 yards.
Sauberan will punt for the first time tonight. He'll be punting into a wind. And that is Kerr is back to receive for the Rockets. Hohlen goes in motion. You don't see that much on a punt play. And that one, wind takes it and knocks it down a little, but there's not going to be a return. Bounces out of bounds. And let's see, they will mark it at about the 44-yard line. So it was just a 25-yard punt. The wind really took that ball when it got up in the air.
Yeah, that's part of the danger of kicking it so high. And now Syracuse has some of their best starting field position here with a little bit of momentum getting that stop on the Crusaders.
So we'll see. They started the game, ran the first 2 or 3 plays in a really tight formation, but then most of the time they've been in this shotgun with Burton Brandt taking the snap. And this time he fakes the handoff and then takes it off to the left side. He's going to be stopped for no gain. Yeah, right at the line of scrimmage. And looks like Hohlen and Manuel and Drever in on the play.
That was great contained there from the Crusaders. Brandt tried to kind of jump out, try to get around the line, and the Crusaders just forced him to the middle, which is where all the linebackers were. That was a great play.
So here come the Rockets on offense. They've got 2 receivers out to the right side this time. And Brandt rolls that way. And we'll see. Looks like that's a run all the way. He had that ball. Oh, boy, and that's going to be a late hit. I think it was a little bit of an unintentional thing. I think they kind of ran into each other. That was Jared Alvarez. I definitely don't think he was trying to hit him.
No. And that's a kid who's just a sophomore, hasn't had a ton of experience, probably just didn't quite realize where he was on the field.
So yeah, it was a pickup of only about a yard, but then a 15-yard penalty will put the ball in LCS territory. Syracuse has it on the 40.
Yeah, again, costly penalty for the Crusaders. One kind of derailed them on that offensive possession. Now in defense, you had a chance to force a pretty long play there for Syracuse, only holding to 1 yard, and then you give a big penalty. Now they're on your side of the field.
And as you can tell from the sound here, the wind is picking up just a little bit. Crusaders blitz. Brandt way back there, and pass is incomplete. A couple of defenders there. Hohlen was covering the receiver. The receiver was Shanks, and then Burgher was coming across from the other side.
Yeah, that wasn't really a terrible pass either. Just kind of mistimed his jump a little.
And actually, I had that reversed on there. That time it was Shanks who passed, and it was Brandt who was the receiver. So it'll be 2nd and 10, and it is Shanks who's under center. They're in that tight formation again this time. Fakes the handoff, and he drops straight back, passes right over the middle, and a diving catch, and it's complete. And that pass goes to, is that 84? No, 24. That's Wander who catches the ball.
That's an interesting wrinkle for Syracuse here, kind of switching up quarterbacks.
And a 12-yard completion to number 24, Owen Wander. And this is the deepest possession for Syracuse tonight. Yeah, first time they've thrown from that under center formation.
Right.
Shanks up there again, drops straight back again, and setting up the screen, and that is done perfectly. Brandt was open when he caught it, and now the ball is picked up by a Crusader, and it must have been a fumble. And it's going to be Crusader football, I think. I didn't hear a whistle.
And that was a great play from Syracuse. They just
we couldn't really see what happened over here, but it looked like Brandt had picked up about 6 or 7 yards, and then all of a sudden the ball looks like it goes about 10 yards toward their goal, and now we got a Crusader player picking it up. I think that was Hohlen who recovered. I'm not sure about that.
And that's huge for the Crusaders. Syracuse is driving down the field. Crusaders had a couple of costly penalties. All the momentum for this half was with Syracuse, and now you take that away. Syracuse doesn't get any points out of it, and you have the ball again.
Lincoln Christian starts on their own 15, and straight ahead goes Paul, and he has got a first down, 10 yards for Ian Paul.
And if you're Lincoln Christian, you got to capitalize on that. You struggled a little bit in those first couple minutes here in this half. You got to try to extend this lead, keep Syracuse away.
And Ian Paul had 78 yards in the first half, so he's up to 88, closing in on a 100-yard game for his first start as a Crusader. And it looks like we're going to have a motion play, I think. No, it's offsides, I'm sorry, because it looked like Burgher kind of moved and then didn't really reset, but I think his movement is what probably drew Syracuse offsides.
Right, so I think it's the third time Syracuse has fallen for that. They've jumped the offsides 3 times tonight when we go in motion, and then whoever's going in motion just kind of stops, and they've jumped 3 times on that.
7:52 to go here in the third quarter. Lincoln Christian up 24-0, and they've got a 1st and 5 now from the 35. And this time Cook keeps it, turns it upfield. He'll have the first down, and he's still on his feet. And Cook, and now there's Syracuse jumping up and down like they think there was a fumble. And let's see who they give the ball to. It looks like Lincoln Christian will keep it. And that is a 13-yard gain for Alex Cook. So I think that fumble by Syracuse on that last possession, that's the only turnover either team's had tonight, right?
Yeah, the Crusaders, I think, put it on the ground twice, but they recovered both times.
Burgher in motion this time, and the handoff goes to Paul, and he is stuffed. He will lose about a yard. And it looks like Brandt on the stop. So Syracuse coming off an 0-9 season last year. And of course Lincoln Christian 1-8, although if you look at that schedule, there were probably 4 of those losses that the Crusaders were in that game right toward the end and lost by only a touchdown or a little more.
Right, and a lot of those guys that were there back this season, a lot more experience.
And this time the pitch goes to Burgher, and he's going to be wrapped up behind the line. There's a flag down, a couple of flags down. And Burgher is wrapped up for a loss, but we'll see what the penalty is.
Yeah, I think that was Ethan Whitler for Syracuse there. He played that perfectly. He was ready if Cook didn't pitch that, and he was right there when Cook did.
And they're looking toward the Syracuse bench, the officials are, so I assume that is the penalty going to be on Lincoln Christian. See what the call is. That was a 2nd down and about 10, and it is going to go, it looks like it must be a holding call on the Crusaders. That is effectively about a 13-yard penalty because they mark it off from the spot of the hold.
Still on the 2nd down, though, for the Crusaders.
2nd down and a mile to go now, about 23 or so. And they pitch to Burgher, comes around this end, and he is forced out of bounds. We got another penalty right in the middle of the field. That
I think that's going to be another hold.
That was about a 7-yard gain, but likely not going to stand. Unless they couldn't decline this one, given that it would be then 3rd and long. We'll see. So again, yeah, back-to-back holding calls. And that is going to march the Crusaders back. We'll see where they, oh no, they are going to decline it. So give Dworak about an 8-yard run on that play, an 8-yard pickup, and that will be 3rd and 16, 17 to go.
And again, this isn't really a strong suit of the Crusaders here on 3rd and long.
With a 24-0 lead, you might just want to play it conservative here.
Right.
And pick up what you can and then punt if you don't get a first down. Well, they are going to pass. So Cook is back. He is hit as he throws it, but it's going to be a catch. And that is number 8, Gunnar Dworak, who catches it, and he's got the first down. And Gunnar with a good job to come back to the ball.
Yeah, and as you said, might want to play it conservative, not try to force anything, and then they very close to something really bad there with Cook getting hit as he threw, but was able to get it off quick enough just in time.
So that's a 20-yard reception for Gunnar Dworak, and yeah, he hit as he threw, and the ball kind of up in the air, a little bit of a wounded duck, and those are the kind of balls that get intercepted a lot of times too.
Yeah, and Dworak did a really good job at being aware of where the ball was and coming back to it.
They snap from Syracuse territory. Paul wrapped up, and he is not having as much success here in this third quarter as he did in the first half. Just picks up about 1 yard on that play.
Yeah, overall, Syracuse doing a much better job at the line of scrimmage.
Turning out to be a pretty pleasant evening. Temperature is dropping a little and a nice little breeze here. Crusaders just their second year playing under the lights here. Friday night lights at the Crusader Field on 84th Street. Second down about 8.5. That's Paul. This time he's got a better play, and he is close to that first down. I think he's going to be about a yard short, so give him 8 on the carry.
That was a much better hole there from the line, giving Paul plenty of space to run.
Or actually gives him about 7. It's third and a long 2. And Syracuse jumped off sides. So that's got to be what, about the 4th time tonight I think we've drawn them off.
Yep. Normally, anytime there's movement at the line of scrimmage, it's false start, but that's 4 tonight where it's been the defense.
So that's a first down by penalty for Lincoln Christian. They are inside the 30 now. Ball spotted on the near hash on the 29-yard line. And Cook up under center. Sam Drever, the center, anchors the line for Lincoln Christian. Pitch. Oh, and that one is way past Burgher, and it goes out of bounds for a big loss.
Yeah, that's another time where they've had trouble with that.
That is a 15-yard loss.
And Burgher had trouble picking it up, which kind of led to it bouncing back another 7 yards. And just when it looked like it was going to be pretty promising for the Crusaders after that throw there from Cook to Dworak, now it's second and almost 20-something yards.
Yeah, second, about 24 to go. They've got to get all the way inside the 20 for a first down. And Cook with the keeper, and he is into the secondary, and a good gain. He's picks up give him about 16 yards down to, or about 15 yards down to the 28-yard line. And we got an injured player, and is that Cook?
I think it is.
Who's still down? And it looks like it might be a cramp. Looks like they're holding his leg up, so I think he may just have a cramp. But unless they, even if that is just what it is, he's still going to have to come out for at least one play unless they take a timeout.
Yeah, this is a big play. Third and, I don't know where that exactly is. Third and about 8.
Third and about 8, yeah.
A big 3rd and 8 play, trying to close off this third quarter.
And let's see if he comes out. Would Sitzman be the backup?
Yep, Sitzman would go in. We do have video proof it's a cramp.
Okay, well that's good news. Yeah, yep. That's not good news. Cramps are painful, but
better than what
better
it could
than
be.
Anything that's more long term for sure. So we'll while we're waiting on this, we'll talk about the field. I was talking to our chief groundskeeper, Mr. Hansen from All About Grass, and I said, "Man, you're having trouble keeping up with the hot weather. You got some dry spots out there." But he said the well was out for about a week or so.
Yeah, they've been having water troubles almost all around Lincoln.
Yeah. So I think he said it just got fixed here in the last few days, but he'll be happy for some cooler weather to try to catch the grass back up a little bit.
Yep, and now he has 5 games to do the field this year instead of 4 last year.
Right. So Sitzman is in the game. Carter Sitzman, a junior for the Crusaders. And nothing like coming in with a 3rd and long to have to execute on. We'll see what Carter does. It's Dworak in motion, and he goes straight back, and he's got an open receiver, and Burgher, that's Burgher, right, who catches it for the touchdown.
And I was about to say before the play started, something Sitzman does better than Cook is he has a better arm, and I'm kind of surprised they went to him there on that big play, but worked out for the Crusaders.
So that is a 28-yard touchdown pass from Carter Sitzman to Jonas Burgher. And Carter Sitzman comes into the game on third down, throws into the wind, and hits his receiver right in stride.
That is big time. Coming in first game of this season, nervous for one big play, and steps up there with confidence and throws a dime into the end zone.
And Sauberan in for the extra point. Ball is down, and the kick is up, and it is good. It's a 31-0 lead for Lincoln Christian. And that's Alex Cook, who's back in there to hold for the extra point, so he's just fine, but better watch out. He's got somebody coming up behind him. If he doesn't play well, Carter Sitzman will be in the game. Now, that's great. That's great to know that you've got a backup who can come in and execute under pressure for sure.
And that was just a crazy possession there for the Crusaders. They had got the fumble inside their own red zone, were able to come down, had a couple big second and third down plays, had some penalties they enforced on themselves, had the crazy pass from Cook to Dworak, I think it was. And then Cook gets hurt, and you get a dime from the backup quarterback into the end zone.
And frankly, the play call surprised the heck out of me. I figured they would try a pitch to Dworak or Burgher and see if they could pick it up that way. But
I think that's what everybody was thinking.
Well, and Syracuse probably as well.
Right.
So. And 4 touchdowns now by 4 different Crusaders tonight. Burgher caught that one to go with runs by Dworak, Paul, and Hohlen tonight. Here comes Sauberan's kick into the wind, and this is a decent kick. And that's going to go back, and he's got to return that one, though. That is Sitzman, or not Sitzman, that's number 7, and he is out short of the 20-yard line. That is Brinkman. So Brinkman returns it out to about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a tough one to return because you catch it on your own 1 or 2, and you have to return it.
Right, and you really have to catch it because if it lands on about the 2-yard line and dies, the Crusaders could come down and grab it. So Brinkman made the best of it, and he will give the Rockets the ball 1st and 10 on about the 19-yard line. So again, lots of action coming up for you here on the Crusader Sports Network. Our next live event on the Lincoln Christian channel will be volleyball on the 8th as Lincoln Christian hosts Lincoln Lutheran. And this is Shanks, who drops straight back, and he's got an open receiver, but he overthrows him. That was Brandt. Led him just a little bit too much, and again, hard to judge when you're throwing with the wind. Either way, when you're throwing with the wind or into the wind, how much you have to put on it or how much you take off of it if you're throwing with the wind.
Yeah, and there's still a decent amount of pressure there from the Crusader line, and he did have a couple guys going downfield, but just couldn't quite get it there.
So we mentioned the Lincoln Lutheran volleyball game. The football game is next Friday night, and that should be on the Lincoln Lutheran Strive channel. Just go to strive.tv/Lincoln-Lutheran if you won't be there, and check that out. And this is Brandt, who's back under center now, where he took the shotgun pass, and that's incomplete. Brinkman was open, but it was a little low, and he's hobbling around. I wonder if he's got a cramp too.
Yeah, it looks like he does.
So that was a missed opportunity for Syracuse because Brinkman was open, but the ball was just underthrown, and he went down, tried to grab it off the turf, but wasn't able to do so.
Yeah, that's 2 missed opportunities on pretty good looks for Syracuse. He overthrew the first one, a couple guys downfield, and then that one just underthrew it.
And Brinkman does finally make it over to the sideline to get stretched out. So Syracuse now 3rd and 10. And that ball goes way over his head, but now the play's going to be blown dead, and that's a break for Syracuse, regardless of who the penalty's on. The Syracuse coaches are saying thank you. That was a good penalty. We're glad you got that penalty. The illegal procedure is the call. It'll back him up 5 yards, but that ball was over his head and could have ended up, if it was recovered by the Crusaders, in the end zone or very close to it.
Even if Syracuse recovers that, then they're on their own 2 on 4th down with a really awkward punt.
So that is a 5-yard penalty, brings up 3rd and 15. They've got to get out to the 29-yard line. And this will be a run by Brandt, and he is brought down.
Yeah, pretty conservative play call there, not trying to do anything fancy. Maybe they'll go for it.
Drever is in on the stop, and Roth there as well. So it's going to be 4th and 12 after a 3-yard pickup by Brandt. Number 3 gets 3, and he will punt now, and Burgher stands on his own 45-yard line. And Brandt's got a pretty good leg. He's punting with the wind here, so we'll see what he does. Kind of a rugby-style punt. And Burgher says, I'm going to get away from that, and it takes a little bit of a Crusader bounce out of bounds. Lincoln Christian will start in Syracuse territory.
Yeah, another pretty good field position for the Crusaders here.
So we talked about the game next week on the Lincoln Lutheran Strive channel. I think Strive has really, the pandemic has not been good for anybody, generally speaking, but for them I think it's been good for business. There have been a number of new schools who signed up for Strive this year because they figure there are probably some fans who aren't going to want to come out to games, so they'll give them a chance to stream games. And so I think I looked at our football schedule. All but one of our away games are with teams that have Strive, so you should be able to watch 8 of the 9 games on Strive. And the other one is Fort Calhoun, and they actually use the NFHS network, which is a subscription thing. You got to pay $9.95 to watch the game, but you can do that if you want to see that. So here comes Cook, turns it upfield, and he's got a first down and more, and he is dragged down inside the 30. So give him about 19 yards on the carry.
Yeah, and that's just another case of the Crusaders getting a big play on first down. Just so easy to play football when you have big plays at first down and you can just get ahead of the count, or you can just keep getting big plays to convert, get down close to the red zone.
Crusaders have already put 1 touchdown on the board here in the 3rd quarter, driving for number 2 if they can. They got a ways to go here, but they are in good shape. 1st and 10 on the 28. And Cook with another keeper turns it upfield, and kind of an ankle tackle there brings him down with still a decent gain, though. He got about 5 yards on that. And it looks like, I think, DeGoyer on the stop. I think it's a little too early to have comparisons to the Huskers of the 90s with the running game, but Lincoln Christian has really got it going tonight on the ground.
And the Crusaders, just as I've said so far tonight, they just have so many options to go to.
And the pitch this time to Burgher, and tries to get around the defenders. He takes a whack, keeps going though, and picks up some positive yards.
Yeah, that was a good play there by Burgher. He kind of got hit upside the head, but was able to keep his composure and gain a couple yards. That was pretty good.
And Hohlen comes over to the sidelines, and I think he maybe has a cramp. So,
yeah, I think first game of the season, you're going to see a little bit more of that.
We're down to the last minute of the 3rd quarter, and the Crusaders 3rd and short. Burgher got about 3 yards on that last play, so it'll bring up 3rd and 2. Dworak in motion, hand off to Paul, and he is going to be, that's close. That second effort, I think, got it for him.
And he just continues to barrel forward even if he gets stopped.
And it is. Give him about 3 yards, and the ball will be on the 17-yard line. Yeah, he did that play once in the first half where he was kind of stopped and then kind of shifted over to his right and picked up another yard or 2.
Well, just like Barry, he's a big, strong guy. He's just going to keep pushing even if he's hit. If he's going to get tackled, he's going to bring some guys down with him.
And Crusaders, we'll see. They may they're driving for a score. They've only got 40 seconds left. This drive may carry over to the 4th quarter. There goes Paul again, and give him about 3 yards on that play, just inside the 15. We'll see what they do. They could let this clock run out. They don't need to run another play here in this quarter.
So bring up 2nd and 6 with the ball at the 15-yard line.
Well, they're going to line up. We'll see if they want to try to get one more snap off before the end of the quarter. And they do. Burgher takes it, cuts upfield, and he's going to have a first down, and he is going to have a touchdown. Well, they did finish the drive in this quarter.
Yeah.
As the clock runs out for the third quarter, that is about a 14-yard touchdown run for Jonas Burgher, and that's Burger's second score, both here in the second half.
Yeah, just showing his speed, they're able to get to the outside. I don't think Syracuse was fully expecting that to play defense another time.
So Sauberan is perfect tonight. He is 4 for 4 on extra points, plus a 25-yard field goal. And the kick is on the way, and it's good.
Sauberan's kick is good.
So at the end of the third quarter, Lincoln Christian with a 38-0 lead. We'll take a break and be right back. All right, we are ready to start the fourth quarter here on the Crusader Sports Network, and we'll start it with a kick as Sauberan will kick off after Lincoln Christian's touchdown to end the third quarter. And the ball blows off the tee. So during that break, I was looking at the stats. Unofficially, we've got 200-yard rushers now with Cook and Paul both over the 100 mark. They both had 78 at halftime. Paul is at 102, and Cook's about 109 tonight. And here comes Sauberan with the wind. That one's going to go through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So of all of his kicks, I think there's only been one that Syracuse has been able to return tonight.
Yeah, and that one was a kind of a weird one at the 1 yard line that really couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah. So now we'll see what happens here. I think I should have brushed up on the rules, but I think a 36 or more point lead and you'd have a running clock, so we could have a quick fourth quarter here. And we'll see as the quarter goes on, the Crusaders may get in some of their younger players as well.
I think they already do. I see Tommy Swoboda out there. I think that might be Bugher at safety.
Yep. And Brandt tucks and runs and picks up a little bit of yards and breaks a couple of tackles, and he is off to the races. And another missed tackle. And finally, the Crusaders bring him down. That is about a 23-yard carry for Burton Brandt.
Yeah, the Crusaders have a lot of their younger guys in already here. I saw Nicholas Roth, I think Tommy Swoboda, Jake Bigler, Jared Alvarez.
And it looks like Luke Laffler was the guy who made the stop, so that's another backup. And again, it's tough because you want these guys to get some experience, but you also don't want to give up any cheap scores either. So.
Yep. And especially considering Syracuse has most, if not all, of their starters still in the game.
And that is Brandt in the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and a missed tackle in the backfield, and he turns it upfield, and he will be close to another first down. We've got a flag, though, right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Drever was shooting in there like a cannon, just barely missed that tackle.
And Witt finally makes the stop for the Crusaders. We'll see what the flag is. It was about a 9-yard pickup, so looks like it's, I wonder if it's going to be a hold probably on Syracuse.
Yeah, looks like it.
A relatively short penalty though, because they mark it off from the 50-yard line, so it's turns out to be only about a 3-yard penalty. It'll bring up first and about 13. Got that tight formation, and it's Brandt, and a good job by the Crusaders. They stuff him for about a 1-yard gain. And Drever is in there on the stop. And also looks like Malachi Simon, number 60, in on the stop. And number 70 in there as well. That is Max Emanuel.
Yeah, Max Emanuel, just a freshman, younger brother of Jackson Emanuel.
Second down about along 12, and Brandt rolls out. He's got a receiver open, but pass is thrown just a bit wide, and Brinkman can't get it. And he's stretching his leg out again. He ran off the field with a cramp earlier, and he's got another one.
Yeah, this time he can't get to the sideline.
So you know what? With this injury timeout, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're back after the quick break there. We've still got Brinkman down, getting stretched out on the field. The Crusaders up 38-0. Take a look at some of the other action tonight. The other teams in the LCS district. Auburn starts out tonight at Ashland Greenwood. Ashland Greenwood rated in the top 10, so but Auburn is too, so that actually is a matchup of a couple of top 10 teams. Auburn, of course, coming off back-to-back state basketball championships, so some of those guys are good basketball and football athletes. And you know what is really surprising to me? So Cam Binder, their great shooting guard on the basketball team, is a center and linebacker on the football team. He doesn't, when you see him play basketball, he doesn't look like he'd be a lineman, does he?
Right, and he is definitely a stronger kid if you see him on the basketball court. He can definitely hold his own in there.
Fairbury tonight is playing at Malcolm. Falls City hosts Platteview. Milford not playing tonight. They called off their game because of they had an instance of a positive COVID test on their team. And there's a run and first down and more, and that is a pickup of about 16 yards by number 12. That's Elliot Coor. And Nebraska City is hosting Schuyler tonight. So, yeah, actually the Milford was supposed to play Malcolm tonight. Their game got canceled because Milford had a player who tested positive for COVID. Fairbury was supposed to play Minden, and Minden had a player who tested positive. So Minden and Fairbury are playing each other because their games got canceled. So that worked out good for them. At least they can play. And Brandt hit as he throws, and good job by Brinkman to kind of come around late and have a chance at that ball, but he isn't able to complete it. So incomplete pass makes it second down and 10 for Syracuse.
Yeah,
Swoboda on the defense.
For Syracuse, you can't be too discouraged with the looks you're getting. You're getting pretty good looks downfield. You just got to complete more of them, and you're going to continue possessions. They've had way too many dropped balls or just balls that were so close.
So the Rockets still have most of their first teamers in the game. Crusaders mostly backups here on defense. Burton Brandt, the QB, stands right at midfield. Takes the snap, and a little bit of a mix-up there, but he does get the ball handed off, and a good run and a first down by number 12. That's Elliott Coor. And the stop for the Crusaders. Luke Penrod in on the stop, as well as Benjamin Roth. So Syracuse now 1st and 10. Ball on the 34 after a 10-yard gain. And the handoff again to Coor. And he's got another first down, or close to it. He's just a bit short. Give him about 9 on that play, down to about the 25.
The Crusaders, a little bit of miscommunication and confusion there before that play, trying to figure out their substitutions. I think they're bringing in the...
Yeah, now it looks like they've got the first teamers coming back in. See if they can stiffen up a little bit here.
I don't think these guys really expected to have to go back in the game.
Syracuse still in good shape as far as this particular possession because they've got 2nd and a short 2. And Burton Brandt keeps it. He is going to be wrapped up. Oh, and finally he's got that first down. Boy, Crusaders weren't able to wrap him up. Drever had him by the ankles but couldn't bring him down, and finally Dworak brings him down. So Brandt picks up about 3 yards, and it'll be 1st and 10 on the 22. And a good play by, was that Free? Josh Free. Yep. Breaks in and nails Shanks for a loss of 3.
And Free was one of those guys last year who even was doing stuff like that, and now this year is even a little bit bigger, a little bit quicker. He's going to get even more plays like that.
Boy, he started about a half a second before the snap, and he was going full speed as he crossed the line of scrimmage.
And that's just great instinct coming from a senior there, knowing when it's going to go.
This time Brandt rolls out to his right, fires, and that one bounced. Could have been intercepted by Burgher. He overthrew his receiver. It was intended for Brinkman. And if Burgher would have been about a step closer to the ball, he would have had himself an interception. Nonetheless, 3rd and 13 now for the Rockets.
It's just another one of those for Syracuse. It's just right there, just a couple more inches, and you have a completion and a first down.
And the clock runs with 4:20 to go, and you say, why is the clock running? The pass was incomplete, but the high school rules, you get a 35-point lead, and in the second half by one team, and you have a running clock. So this fourth quarter will go by quickly. And on 3rd down, another loss. Brandt is smothered, and that is number 53. That's Jackson Emmanuel, who gets in and brings him down for a loss of another 3 yards.
Yeah, the Crusader line, you can see the difference between that 1st and 2nd team push right there. And that's props to the first team guys. They were out. They probably didn't think they were going to get back in very much, and then going back in, getting a stop, pushing them back. That's a sign of maturity right there.
And I'm sure they want to preserve that shutout. Syracuse takes a timeout. They've got 4th down, and at this point in the game, they might as well go for it, especially this point on the field. You're too close to punt, and probably going into the wind, you're probably too far for a field goal attempt. So.
Yeah, and they've gotten good looks so far in their pass game, so I'd be shocked if they didn't try to get another one of those.
Crusaders hit the road for the next 2 weeks in a row. They'll be, as we said, at Pius on next Friday night to take on Lincoln Lutheran, 7 o'clock. Lutheran plays some of their home games at Pius and some of them up at Nebraska Wesleyan. Lincoln Lutheran They're in Class C2 this year, so we're not in the same class, but we do still play each other. They have got a tough district, so their district, Syracuse is in their district, but the other teams in their district are UTAN, Wahoo Newman, Utica Centennial, and Wilbur Claytonia, and all those teams were rated in the top 10 to start the season. So maybe a long season for Syracuse because they got to play all those teams too.
Yeah.
And Brandt rolls, goes back, floats it over the middle, and Free almost had an interception. He got a couple of hands on it, or the same hand on it twice, knocks it up in the air, and it falls down.
Almost looked like Syracuse tried to run a screen, but whoever was supposed to turn around to get the screen forgot they were doing it, and they just kept going.
Well, one way or the other, Crusaders were going to end up with that ball, but I'm sure Josh Free would have loved to have an interception for the stat book.
Yep. And now I would expect some of the second-team offense. Yeah, there's Sitzman coming out.
So Sitzman will be a quarterback, and behind him it looks like you've got number 34. That is Jared Alvarez. You've also got Jake Bigler out there. And let's see.
I think Luke Penrod's out there on the he'll be going in motion.
Yep, Penrod, and let's see, near receiver here is Tommy Svoboda, and we still need another lineman, and that is number 59, Cooper Dworak, in the game. Sitzman takes the snap, straight ahead. That's Alvarez, and a nice gain, and that'll be a first down. A pickup of right at 10 yards for Jared Alvarez.
Yeah, and these second-team guys aren't going to mess around here. They're going to try to go down and score if they can.
We're probably not going to see any passes, but they're going to try to keep the ball moving, I'm sure.
Yep.
And Sitzman completed the only pass of the night for Lincoln Christian, that touchdown pass to Jonas Burgher earlier. And off again to Alvarez, and boy, he had a lot of green in front of him and then was tripped up after about a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, I think we're kind of seeing the depth the Crusaders have it with their power backs. With Burgher being out, you have Paul coming in as a second guy who gets over 100 yards, and you have Alvarez who can come in and get big plays too.
And Sitzman pitches, and Bigler drops the ball and then has to fall on it, so he loses about 3 yards on the play. For Syracuse, they'll have their home opener next week. They host Fillmore Central.
I think Andrew Johnson just went in at quarterback for Sitzman. And then I think that was Jackson Byers going in and Lane Ballard.
So Ballard is the back behind Johnson, and there's a jump. And yeah, a delayed whistle, but we had motion or movement there on the line. That's Dworak who moved, Cooper Dworak. So that makes it now third down and about 12 to go. Clock runs with under a half minute, so we're only going to have another play or two. This could be the last play of the game. Handoff straight ahead. Was that Ballard, I think, who carried? Yep, Lane Ballard with the carry, and give Lane about 6 yards. And that's going to do it. The Crusaders are going to win this one 38-0 over Syracuse. So the season is off to a great start. They're going to have a lot of momentum to carry into week number 2.
Yeah, a lot more expectations this year coming in with a lot of returning guys. But you got to show up, you got to play, and they came to play. They did what they had to do. And it'll give them a lot of confidence going into practice next week.
And a big game next week. It's the Spirit Sword game against Lincoln Lutheran. It just, again, we talked about this earlier, it just doesn't seem right that you'd be playing the Warriors before Labor Day, but they've got to gear up pretty quickly and get ready for that big rivalry game.
And I think the biggest thing the Crusaders demonstrated tonight was all the weapons that they have, all the different guys that they can give the ball to make plays for them.
And really a good effort on both offense and defense. The Rockets had some yardage in the second half, particularly when the second teamers were in for Lincoln Christian. But I think defensive coach Josh Hyatt has got to be pretty happy with the way his defense has played tonight.
Right, first game, new system, new coach, and you can come in and hold any team to 0 points. You can't ask for anything more.
And so the players now going to congratulate each other. They can't shake hands. They kind of got to just do a helmet bump. Yeah, so that's a good way to show sportsmanship. Last night at the volleyball game at the end, again, you can't shake hands after the volleyball game, so the teams waved to each other. So Lincoln Christian with a big win tonight. A lot of yards on the ground, but one completion, but it was a big one too. 26-yard touchdown pass from Carter Sitzman to Jonas Burgher. And Lincoln Christian finished with a couple of players over 100 yards tonight. Both Ian Paul and Alex Cook finished over the century mark in rushing, and a great game for Ian Paul. That's got to give him a lot of confidence, his first start ever.
Yeah, and especially not knowing the situation with Ethan Berry, who's kind of week to week right now. And you have a guy you can trust to step in and replace him.
Yep. All right, so this has been a great night for Lincoln Christian and a great night for the Strive crew. Thanks to Carter Larson and Sam Landretti, our ace crew, and Becky Miles, our stat gal tonight, for keeping us updated on all the stats. And for Colby Hansen, I'm Keith Miles here on the Crusader Sports Network. Next action for Lincoln Christian on on the Strive TV, I should say, will be the volleyball team up at Fremont Bergen Tuesday night. Check out strive.tv/Archbishop-Bergen to watch that. Next Friday night, the Lincoln Lutheran Warriors will host the game with LCS, the football game, and so that'll be on their Strive channel, strive.tv/Lincoln-Christian. And our next action on the Crusader Sports Network a week from next Tuesday against Lincoln Lutheran for volleyball, Tuesday the 8th. So have a great night, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.